Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be reviewing day number 15 of training camp for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you guys are new here, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the like button if you do enjoy these training camp reviews, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments section down below. I was there for this training camp. I was with Rhett of the Cannon Fire podcast. It was a lot of fun. Great morning. I even saw some of you guys subscribe to the channel there as well. So it was absolutely delightful. But with that being said, let's get into some of the players who were not in practice today. All of the names from yesterday's video pretty much remain the same, except Jason Pierre-Paul and Rob Gronkowski both had a vet day today, so there's nothing to worry about there. But all of these notes are from me because I was there, thankfully, and I had a lot of observations to make. So all running backs had good catches early on in practice. I thought they all did good. And, shout out to guys like CJ Prosise and Troymaine Pope. I know those names aren't going to come up, but they've looked pretty solid in training camp so far. Keshawn Vaughn did have one drop, but I'm going to excuse that. Overall, he looked solid throughout the day. Through early stages of practice, I only saw one drop from the tight ends and wide receivers. It was Daquan Hampton. And then right after I finished writing that note, I looked up and Tanner Hudson had a drop, which Tanner Hudson's got a lot to prove right now. Coach is on him. Arians is saying, man, this guy can't block anybody. So let's see how Tanner Hudson responds with that. Let's see how he does. He was getting some extra work after practice, which is I think a pretty important thing to note. Moving to the defensive side of the football, Nacho looked very good in run defense today, which is good. We haven't heard his name pop up too much, so I was happy to see him make a play here or there. All running backs ran hard throughout practice. Keshawn Vaughn did look especially good. He was running with a certain amount of oomph in his game, which I was very happy to see because there are still Keshawn Vaughn fans out there. I heard a good number of people cheering for him when he ran by the bleachers and whatnot, and he still has some good things going for him. So don't give up on Keshawn Vaughn. He's still out there growing and doing some good things. Now to the defensive side of the football yet again. This guy is going to be somebody we bring up all throughout this video. It's Anthony Nelson. Now, Anthony Nelson had what, in my opinion, was a would-be sack on Brady, and then he applied good pressure on Brady during another play, and then he had another would-be sack on Brady. And even if you want to debate, and say, well, it might not have been a would-be sack, James, you might just be overly optimistic, it was at least good pressure. I mean, Anthony Nelson was doing a really, really good job today getting pressure, getting would-be sacks and whatnot, and this isn't even the last time we're going to be mentioning him, because he was absolutely on fire today. Moving to the secondary, Herb Miller had an interception on Blaine Gabbert during a miscommunication with Jalen Darden. It was a give-me interception. It was probably the easiest interception of Herb Miller's life. And then after that, I believe it was the very next play, Herb Miller had very good coverage on Mike Evans, and Evans did come down with the pass, but he was out of bounds. That's how good the coverage was by Herb Miller. He forced Mike Evans, of all people, out of bounds with such good coverage. That's a very hard thing to do, as well as getting an interception against an NFL quarterback. Herb Miller did both those things on back-to-back plays. He's also battling for that fifth cornerback job with the likes of Nate Brooks and Antonio Hamilton, so it was good to see him make a couple of plays there. Staying on the defensive side of the football, Quinn Bell had a little bit of pressure on Brady during a play. That's always a good thing to see. But then back to the offense, Scotty Miller, Chris Godwin, and Jaydon Mickens all made great plays during practice. And, this is nothing new. Scotty Miller, Chris Godwin, those guys, have a lot of expectations for them to do good. Jaydon Mickens has been absolutely on fire this training camp. He has been wonderful. I have very rarely seen or heard him, have a drop. Anything along those lines. He's just been making plays left, right, and center, which again makes me ask the question, what are they going to do here with this roster? Are they going to keep 7 wide receivers and maybe not keep 4 tight ends? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but Jaydon Mickens is more than just a special teams guy. He can do some work as a wide receiver regardless of who's in there at quarterback. Joe Tryon had some good pressure or a would-be sack on Ryan Griffin. Regardless, it was at least good pressure, so good job there by Joe Tryon. He also continued to have a really good day today. This won't be the last time we mention him. Khalil Davis and Pat O'Connor had a would-be sack on Gabbert. Again, two backup defensive linemen who have honestly both been doing some really good things throughout this training camp, and they continue to bring the pressure there. One name we haven't mentioned at all, and I think we are mentioning him maybe a couple of times here. Elijah Ponder actually had good pressure on Griffin as well, which again is a guy we don't mention too much. Maybe he'll be a practice squad guy, who knows, but good to see Elijah Ponder, a name and a number that we haven't seen a ton come up, really start to work in there and get some good plays going. Moving back to Anthony Nelson, he had what was potentially another would-be sack on Brady. There is some debate there. Brady pump faked. Apparently, according to some people, Anthony Nelson had bit on that pump fake. In my opinion, he didn't jump up in the air or anything. He was still right in front of Brady, so at the very least, it was good pressure yet again from Anthony Nelson. In my opinion, this was probably Anthony Nelson's best practice. He did phenomenal today as a pass rusher. Joe Tryon had, yet again, another would-be sack on Ryan Griffin. I told you this wouldn't be the last time that we mentioned his name. Really, Anthony Nelson and Joe Tryon, those guys are on, they're about something, man. They are doing phenomenal work as pass rushers, as backup pass rushers, as that. They're just great, right? They're so great that I can't even form it into words. I'm just fumbling over my words, man. That's how good that Joe Tryon and Anthony Nelson have been. But moving back to the offensive side of the football, TJ Simmons had a nice touchdown catch from Ryan Griffin. It was nice to see TJ Simmons out there, friend of the channel, get some stuff going. Cameron Brate looked to have little rust as he caught a very nice touchdown pass from Brady, so he is getting back into the fold as well, which is going to create yet another interesting opportunity with all those guys battling for that fourth tight end spot, so we'll have to wait and see with that. I think Ryan Suckup made all of his kicks today. He might have missed one. It was kind of hard to tell. There was an overhang in the way, so you couldn't see if it was wide left or wide right. You could just see the aftermath of the kick hitting the net. So I think he made all of his kicks, but I'm not 1,000% sure. Regardless, I think he still had a good day. Cody McElroy had 2 drops, which was not great, but again, I think that he really at this point is tied with, say, Tanner Hudson and Jarrell Adams for that 4th tight end spot. With Bruce Arians' comments, I think it's anybody's game right now. I really do believe that, and honestly, McElroy still might have the lead at this point. Who knows? But he still had 2 drops, which wasn't ideal, but I'm still willing to forgive it to a certain degree. Tom Brady had a nice long pass to Jalen Darden. Chris Wilcox was in coverage, so he was struggling a little bit there. Grant Stuard, friend of the channel, was actually pretty decent overall throughout the day, in my opinion. I thought he actually had a wonderful job. I'd even say it's better than decent. I thought that Grant Stuard did a very good job today in coverage. There's been talk about, these tight ends are so big, and how can Grant Stuard keep up in coverage? Overall today, I thought he did a very good job. He was where he needed to be, and I think that he's improved a lot in this training camp. Daquan Hampton had 2 really nice catches in a row from Kyle Trask, who, by the way, looked very decent throughout the day, Trask did. There were some plays where some of his passes didn't have as much oomph as, say, Blaine Gabbert, Ryan Griffin, and Tom Brady. Well, Blaine Gabbert and Tom Brady, but overall, Trask, he wasn't, his decision-making was very good today. He was throwing passes away. He wasn't trying to force stuff. He is improving. You can see that with Kyle Trask. And overall, it was a very solid thing to see. Daquan Hampton, is he in that 4th tight end spot battle now? Who knows, man? We're just going to have to wait and see. But he did have a couple of really nice catches today. Tyler Johnson looked good throughout the day as well. That's nothing new. Ladarius Hamilton and Anthony Nelson, yet again, combined for good pressure on Gabbert. Maybe a sack, depending on how you want to go ahead and phrase that. Ladarius Hamilton then had good pressure on Trask later in the day. So Ladarius Hamilton and Anthony Nelson, they combined for at least good pressure, maybe a sack, and then Ladarius Hamilton had good pressure later on in the day as well. Just these guys continue to make plays. Like Anthony Nelson, we've been talking about him a lot. Ladarius Hamilton, though, we haven't mentioned that much, and I really do think he is probably going to end up on the practice squad and be a very solid developmental pass rusher for this team. He is impressing me a lot with his speed and his pass rushing ability. I think the coaching staff feels the same way. So I'm going to be very interested to see what happens with him and whether or not he can be stashed away on that practice squad. I think that'd be a smart move by the Buccaneers. Chris Godwin had a phenomenal catch by Tom Brady. This is nothing new, but it was probably the catch of the day. And then to finish it off here, Elijah Ponder finished off the day with some good pass rushing yet again. So, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. We had a lot of names that we mentioned that we've talked about before. Anthony Nelson was absolutely on fire today, and we even got to hear some names and some numbers that we haven't talked about too much on these training camp videos. So I think we had a lot, man. I think we had a lot. It's always good to go to these training camps, see some of you guys there, have my own observations of what's going on and being able to write out these notes for you guys. And yeah, I'm going to one more on the 18th. It'll be a lot of fun, and I hope to see some of you guys there. I'm always at the 50-yard line, so if you guys are there, just come to the 50-yard line. I'll be sitting there, huddled over my phone, taking notes, watching the practice. So, yeah, anyway, what do you guys think about everything I talked about? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.